Hello, my name's Megan and I'm 27 years old. The most bizarre things have happened to me in the past few months, and today I want to share one of them with you. And let me start off by telling you a little about my husband and I. My husband Alex and I met through a mutual friend. We clicked instantly, and even though we only dated for 3 years, we just knew that we were going to be together forever. We had a very easygoing chemistry and we always trusted each other. And this was why, after about a year into our marriage, when Alex had to leave to go to work abroad, I was fully trusting him. It was hard at first to live on 2 different continents and to deal with the different time zones and the separation, but we eventually got the hang of things. Alex was transferred to the Milan division of his company and he had to work there for the next year or so. I was completely okay with that, only because I valued his career growth and saw the potential he had to grow. My mother-in-law, Nancy, however, had a lot of feelings about this move. She never liked me to begin with. She thought that I was not good enough for her son, and her words and actions always showed me that. Alex had stood up for me whenever Nancy said or did something mean. But since he left, I had to stand up to Nancy. I didn't do that initially only because I didn't want my relationship with Nancy to get any worse. I mean, she was still my mother-in-law and she needed to be respected. I put up with her showing up at my house at all times of the day to make sure I was not cheating on her son and to check if I was still being a good housewife. I never really told Alex about how often Nancy came over because I didn't want him stressing out over more things. Since Alex wasn't there to say anything and I barely said much, Nancy felt like she was a queen who could get away with anything. One day, Nancy came over to my house unannounced as usual and asked me what I was doing for Alex's and my anniversary. "So what are you doing for your anniversary this time?" I'm not sure actually. It must be tough with my son not being here to plan everything for the both of you." "That's not it. Also, we both contribute equally to the plan making and its execution." "Yeah, that's what my son likes to say as well. But we all know that's not the case. Anyways, what is it? What's the plan?" "Well, I don't have any concrete plans as yet, but I was thinking of surprising him by flying to Milan to meet him there." "Oh, that's actually a very good idea. Why don't I come along with you? You want to tag along on our anniversary? Don't you think it would be better to maybe give us some privacy?" "Absolutely not. I've always wanted to go to Italy and I don't see a better time than this." "You could go at literally any other time than this. Alex is going to be there for another whole year and you can fly out any time else. Why does it have to be an anniversary?" "I don't see why we can't make it a destination celebration or something like that. But I want to spend some time with Alex by himself. I haven't seen him in person for months now." "Boo-hoo, cry me a river, Megan. I haven't seen my son either. I also want to see him." "Okay, how about you fly out a week after I go? That's why I get my alone time with him to celebrate our anniversary, and then you can get to meet him too." "Absolutely not. I want to be there for your anniversary." "That's not fair to me or Alex. I'm sure that he would not feel comfortable with you being there on the day that we are supposed to celebrate." "Nonsense. He'll do it. Why would he have any objections to his wife being there?" She simply did not see a reason to celebrate it, so I was beyond surprised that she even asked the question. I did not seriously upset that even when she was trying to reason that she wanted to celebrate with us, she was still trying her best to intrude on our special day. It was bad enough that I hadn't seen Alex in 6 months, and her tagging along for our first meeting made me feel angry. Not to mention her threat to completely ruin my roommate gestures made me want to hurl some choice words at her. But once again, out of pure respect, I kept them to myself. I tried not to think about it for the next few days, and let me tell you, it was so hard to keep this away from Alex. Whenever I was in a dilemma of any sort, but especially regarding Nancy, Alex was the first person I went to. Eventually, though, I realized that I didn't really have a choice. I was going to have to let Nancy tag along with me. What I could bank on, however, was Alex taking my side. I could arrange for a gateway for Alex and me and leave Nancy at home, and I realized that there were ways around Nancy's demands. So all I had to do was wait for her call. Nancy called me 4 days later as she had promised. Are we having this conversation or do I call Alex? Fine, yes, let's talk. Tell me why you want to tag along on a couple's vacation. I just want to celebrate with my son, that's it. And why wasn't my suggestion to arrive a little later not okay? Would you be okay with celebrating your anniversary a week later? No, but that's Alex and I's anniversary. I don't see why you need to celebrate it at the same time. If this is your roundabout way of telling me that I cannot tag along, I will call Alex. No, that's not it. I just don't understand how you don't think it's weird for you to tag along. It's really not. Besides, I know for a fact that you're going to ruin your surprise and anniversary. And why do you think that? What have I ever done to make you think that way of me? Look, we both know that I do not have the best view of you. I still think that Alex can do so much better. But this is what I've had to settle with. So now it's your turn to settle with my demands as Alex's mother. Fine. You can come along. Good. I'll take care of the tickets. I don't think that will be necessary. Like I said, I do not trust you to do anything. Besides, if I'm tagging along with you two, the least I could do is take care of our tickets. That way, it would also be my present to both of you for even lasting this long. I appreciate that, but I can get us much better deals. No, I don't want you messing around and doing something to jeopardize my trip. I know you don't want me tagging along, and I will not let you do anything that will not allow me to come along. It's sad that you think that low of me, but fine. You can take care of the tickets, just don't say a word to Alex. Of course, I wouldn't want to ruin my surprise of meeting him. I didn't like how she called the trip her surprise at all. I had a nagging feeling in my gut telling me that she was up to something, so on a whim, I decided to purchase my own tickets instead. The last thing I wanted was to leave this in the hands of someone who hated me. Over the next 2 months, Nancy would not stop bringing the trip up. She kept talking about it as if it was a trip that she was making for her beloved son. And whenever I piped in and told her that I was going to be there too, she'd look at me with disdain and drop the topic. Whenever I asked her to see my tickets, she'd ask me why I was asking her for them and if I didn't trust that she booked them. So I stopped asking her. The bad feeling I had never went away, and I was proven right on the day of our departure. I picked Nancy up from her place that day and drove us to the airport. We entered the airport and I asked Nancy for my tickets, but she laughed in my face. I asked her again and she sighed before walking further into the airport. Finally, I caught up to her, and she turned around right before she entered the check-in. I guess this is where we part ways. Huh? What are you talking about? Thanks for dropping me off at the airport. Nancy, what do you mean? What? I'm going to see my son. And you okayed it. Don't you mean we're going to see him? Oh, that's so cute. Of course, we're not going to see him. You were the one who booked our tickets. Our? Oh, honey, no, I only booked a ticket for myself. What? Oh, my bad. I guess I forgot to tell you. What do you mean? You told me that you booked my ticket? It seems like you're not understanding me. Okay, let me make it simpler for you. No ticket for you. I'm going alone. But this was supposed to be a celebration of Alex and mine's anniversary. That's why you were so insistent on coming along. Of course. And I have to admit, I acted quite well, didn't I? Oh well, guess you have to wait until a week later in order to meet Alex. Why would you do something like this? What have I ever done to you? Don't take it personally. Like I said earlier, I really just think that Alex could do so much better than you. So what? You're going to spend our anniversary with him? Oh yeah, and if I could just find him another better woman to be with, that would definitely be a bonus. That's insane. You can't do that. Alex would never fall for that. No. What's insane is Alex marrying a no-good, ugly woman like you. If Alex could fall for you, I'm sure he would fall for any other better woman. Now, I have a flight to catch. I better not see you anywhere near my son for the next month. I knew that I had expected Nancy to do something to ruin my trip. I did not think that she would actually try to not let me go at all. And for her to threaten me to leave Alex alone, I was not going to allow that to happen. I waited where she left me until I was sure that she was not going to be able to see me. I made my way over to the baggage check-in. I was then told that I could upgrade to first class, and of course I took it. I made my way over to the first class lounge and allowed myself to relax a little. I just knew that Nancy would not be happy that I was even on the plane, so seeing me in first class would definitely drive her crazy. I boarded the flight and waited until the plane was off the ground before I wandered into the economic seating area. Nancy was sitting at the front, so right out of the first class seating area. Her face went from shock to anger when she saw me. I pretended to have lost my way on the flight, and the stewardess helped me get back. It didn't take long for Nancy to come to find me and start yelling at me. What are you doing here? This is the first class cabin. You aren't allowed in here. How did you get a seat in this flight? The same way you did. I opened the site and booked myself a ticket. Impossible. I booked the last ticket available on this plane. How did you do it? And how in the world did you get a first class seat? Does that really matter? Get back to your seat before someone makes you. I'm not going anywhere till you tell me. You lied to me, didn't you? I didn't lie to you about anything. You're lying to me again. Just come clean. You sabotaged me, didn't you? Nancy, how in the world is me booking a ticket on the same day as you sabotage? If anything, you tried to sabotage me and my plans. You just didn't want me to meet my son, so you purposely did this to embarrass me. Honestly, I feel like you're just projecting onto me what you've been feeling. You're beginning to sound a little insane. How dare you? Look, you need to get out of here. You do not get to tell me what to do. I know for a fact that you used my son's hard-earned money to book this seat for yourself. I can assure you that I did not. If I used his money, he'd know that I was going to surprise him. I'm not as stupid as you think I am. Nonsense. You're just lying to my face, and you're thoroughly enjoying it. You need to give up your seat to me right now. Why would I do that? Because you used my son's money to buy yourself this seat. And since it's his money, I get to use it. So get up and give the seat to me. Okay, that's enough. I pressed the button for the air hostess and I asked her to escort Nancy out of the first class area. Nancy was fuming and tried to fight with the air hostess about my seat being hers. A quick look at my ticket said otherwise, and Nancy was told that if she continued to make a ruckus, she would be detained at the airport. Nancy left after that, but not before shooting me a glare. I was already satisfied with the look of absolute anger on her face when she saw me walk down the aisle in her part of the plane. But the entitlement she had towards Alex's money was truly concerning. I mean, I bought my ticket with my money and it was my credit that got me bumped up. She had some nerve to tell me where I had to go. Since I was in first class, when the plane finally landed, I was allowed to move out first. I got my bags pretty early and managed to get out of the airport way earlier than Nancy could. That thought did make me smile. I got myself a cab and made my way over to Alex's apartment. I knew that it would only be a matter of time before Nancy came over. She knew his address because she asked him for it, so she could apparently send him some things. My stomach was turning in excitement. I only hoped that Alex was home because it was the weekend and he tended to go out with his colleagues on the weekend. When I reached his door, I rang the doorbell. Alex opened the door and it looked like he had just woken up. But his face immediately lit up when he saw me, and he gave me a tight hug. "Whoa, Megan, what are you doing here?" "Happy anniversary, my love. How do you like my surprise?" "I love it. It's wonderful. When did you plan all of this?" "Only 2 months ago. Believe me, this was the second hardest secret to keep from you." "Second hardest? What was the hardest?" "Well, it involves your mother." "Oh no, what did she do?" "She asked me what I had planned for our anniversary and I told her that I was thinking of flying out to meet you. Rookie mistake, I know. So she decided that she wanted to come along so she could celebrate with us. I did not like it, but she told me that she'd ruin the surprise if I said no to her. So I had no choice. Then she told me that she'd take care of my tickets only for her to book one ticket for herself. I was smart enough to pre-book my tickets and I got upgraded to first class. You should have seen her face when she saw me on the plane. Whoa, what in the world is wrong with my mother? Why would she want to accompany us? Isn't that a bit weird? Oh yeah, that's exactly what I said as well. But she wouldn't take no for an answer. So wait, is my mom here? Yeah, I have a feeling she'll be here any moment, knocking at your door to tell you what an insensitive person I am. But before that, I have something I need to show you. Alex looked at me curiously as I pulled out my phone. I knew that Nancy was going to pull something on me, so I set my phone to record as soon as I left the house. When we reached the airport, I pulled my phone out of my pocket and held it in my hand to make sure that if Nancy said something, it would be clear as day. So when Nancy confessed to not only sabotaging my plans, but also using the trip to meet Alex as a way to set him up with other women, I caught it clearly. Alex's face went from confusion to pure horror as he heard what his mother had to say, and he assured me that if his mother's sabotage had succeeded, he would never have gone along with any of her other plans. He was also particularly hurt to find out how dumb his mother thought he was. It didn't take long for Nancy to show up at his door, and when she did, Alex initially put aside his anger and tried to act nice, or as nice as he could. "Hi, Alex, honey, it's so good to see you." "Mom, what are you doing here?" "Well, I came to surprise you, of course, and I wanted to take you out." "Oh, I see that Megan arrived before me." Hi, Nancy. How was your journey? It would have been a lot better if not for you. Alex, do you know what she did? She used your money to get a first-class ticket and would not give her seat up to me. Why would she? It was her money, and not to mention, you only came on this journey to set me up with other women. What? Where would you get that idea? Megan told me everything. Why would you try to ruin our marriage? What has Megan ever done to you, huh? You're getting it all wrong. I only want what's best for you, and Megan is definitely not that. Forgive me for being a good mother to you. So, you thought that sabotaging my wife's plans to surprise me on our anniversary so you could get me to see other women is what was good for me? You're disgusting. Don't you dare speak to your mother that way. I actually don't want to speak to you for a long while. If you could leave, that would be nice. But where would I go? I'm in a foreign country with a foreign language. Where and how do you think I'll find a place? There's a hotel right down the street. That's where I stayed initially. And before you ask me any more questions, just think about how you've behaved. If you had been a better person, I would never have resorted to this. Now get out. Nancy tried to get Alex to listen to her and even resorted to begging me for forgiveness when she realized that Alex was not listening to her. I saw no reason to help her out when she purposely tried to sabotage my trip and use it as an excuse to get Alex to meet other women. Alex helped Nancy get a room at the hotel near his place, and she left with her head hanging low in embarrassment. After that, Alex took the week off work so we could go to a resort and enjoy our anniversary. That had two benefits. First, we were celebrating our anniversary in the best way possible. And second, it prevented Nancy from interrupting us again because she would have no idea where we were. Alex and I decided to switch our phones off and enjoy our time together instead. We had a blast. Alex didn't stop apologizing for his mother's behavior initially, but after I told him that he had no reason to apologize over and over again, he stopped doing it. The only thing he did after that was thank me for coming over. It truly was an anniversary that we were never going to forget. After we returned back to Alex's apartment, we switched our phones on and found a huge number of texts and calls from Nancy, and a few of Alex's relatives calling Alex and me a bunch of nasty things for abandoning Nancy in a foreign country. Now, I'm not one for confrontation, but this had me seeing red. So I sent each and every single one of them the recording of Nancy's plan. All of them apologized for their words. I stayed with Alex for another 2 weeks, and when I returned back home, I found Nancy waiting for me at my doorstep. I had had a really long journey, and I was also dealing with the sadness of having left Alex and having to wait for some more time before getting to see him again. So I wanted nothing to do with Nancy at that moment. I tried to act as if I hadn't seen her, but she pretty much blocked my path before I could reach my door. You finally came back. Nancy, you need to leave right now. No, you don't get to tell me what to do. You humiliated me. What did you expect? You were the one who tried to sabotage my plans to surprise Alex. That is unfair. You've poisoned my son's mind against me. How dare you? First of all, you need to stop insinuating that your son is stupid enough to not make his own decisions. It's getting really boring. If you're going to be a bully, at least be creative with your insults. Secondly, if you think it's okay for you to poison Alex's mind against me, then you should be okay with me doing the same thing against you. Think of it as a race. You were just too slow and dumb to win. How dare you talk to your mother-in-law that way? You tormented me for so long, and I kept my mouth shut about it out of pure respect for your relationship with Alex. I let you walk all over me and completely invade my privacy just because I respected you. But the second you tried to interfere with my relationship, I wasn't going to let you get away. Do you even know the kind of damage that you've caused me? No, but I do hope that it was very damaging to you and your reputation. It was beyond damaging. My entire family won't speak to me. How dare you record our conversation? You've ruined my life. Good. Maybe now you'll take this time to reflect on your disturbing ideas and behaviors. Maybe you can finally learn to be a better person now. You need to do something about this. I will not let you get away with this. I don't have to do anything, Nancy. You know very well that you were the one that got your family involved in this drama. You tried to paint me in a negative light and it backfired on you in the worst way possible. You have no one to blame but yourself. I cannot believe Alex married someone as heartless as you. I knew you were bad for our family. You've torn it apart. It's honestly pathetic that you refuse to even consider the fact that you might be to blame for the situation you're in. You can blame me as much as you want, but that's not going to change your reality. I really do not have time for your nonsense. I had a long journey and I'm exhausted. Goodbye. I left Nancy standing on my doorstep. She looked shocked that I had stood up for myself yet again, and that shock momentarily stopped her from retorting to anything that I had said. I used that pause to quickly get into my home and lock the door behind me. I think when she heard the lock click, she finally snapped back to reality and she began to bang on the door. She yelled for me to open the door, and after 2 to 3 minutes of that, she finally realized that I was not going to open the door, so she left. But of course, Nancy was not going to let me go so easily. She did not stop harassing me after that for days. She would come over at any point in the day just to bang on my door and yell at me for ruining her life. I began to get worried for my safety, so I installed security cameras around my house and I got an extra lock added to the front and back doors of the house. The security cameras provided me with all the evidence I needed to file a restraining order against her. Alex was also really concerned about my safety, so he flew back home to make sure that I was doing all right. Out of anger, he decided to go meet Nancy and set things straight once and for all. Apparently, she burst into tears when she saw him and begged him to forgive her. I was honestly disgusted by her behavior, and so was Alex. He told her to stay away from him and me if she wanted his forgiveness. Nancy tried to pick a fight with him as well and tried to blame me for making her best intentions seem horrific, but she quickly realized that Alex was not listening to a word she was saying. She quieted down and eventually told him that she would get out of his life if that was what he wanted. Alex stayed with me for the next month, and thankfully, Nancy kept her word. I hadn't seen or heard from her in a long while. She deleted her social media and maybe even blocked me, but I can't be too sure about that. I don't know if she's desperate for Alex's forgiveness or if she's finally realized that she was acting crazy, but whatever it is, I'm just glad that I get to relax now. I know through some of Alex's family members who still keep in contact with her that she's okay, just a little sadder, but that's not too worrying for me. It's been a few months since all of this happened, and I'm finally feeling happier and freer. Alex is set to come back to our city for the next few months, and I could not be more excited. I don't know about what's happening with Nancy, nor do I really care. The only thing I do know is that she's become somewhat of a pariah among her family, and nothing brings me greater joy than that.